Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet. Lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will...
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Dear Brother Podcast. Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday, right? We made it half the week. Good morning to you. I want to say, like I say to you all, you're valuable, man. You matter. You matter, brothers. You matter to me. I thank God for every single one of you, man. I thank God for all your survival. I thank God that you made it through yesterday, man. A lot of guys didn't make it through yesterday. Stress gets high. Pain gets high, man. Some people quit, man. You didn't quit. You didn't give up, man. And some of you had a reason to quit, and you hung in there, man. I want to say, if nobody else says to you, even if somebody else says it to you, I want to say that I'm proud of you today. I want to say I'm proud of you today. Man, I've been teaching about fatherhood, man, for the last I guess yesterday I started, and then dropping a lot of shorts and things. But I see that it's helping a lot of men, man. It's this concept of fatherhood. You know what I'm learning, man? There's some things that we judge people for that they never knew how to do. Really, there's some things that we judge people for that they never knew how to do. And I think that comes in fatherhood. Just because you can make a child doesn't mean you know how to be a dad. And at the same time, you know, a lot of our fathers, I'm 44. So the generation before me, a lot of fathers didn't know how to be fathers. I think in my generation, a lot of fathers are a lot stronger. A lot of fathers are doing a lot better because they have the education. That, you know, I think a lot of fathers are guessing at it, man. A lot of fathers are guessing at it. And again, like I said yesterday, there's no rule book that comes out the womb with your child. You know, there's no rule book. So it's not that you know how to be a father, but some of us, man, never were taught it at all. You know, and then some of us were taught aspects of fatherhood. That doesn't mean you have all of fatherhood. Like me, I speak a lot of times about how my dad was a very, very giving, loving, caring father. But he wasn't, I never saw him kiss and hug my mom. I never saw him dance around the living room with her. So what I found was, what I learned was that I became the kind of dad that was very present, would provide, but sometimes I didn't know how to give the kind of love, you know, the love of listening, you know. And I think in society is pushed a lot that the man is the provider, the protector, right? So then that's not all a man can be. And so a lot of it's miseducation, you know. A lot of it has been miseducation, man. And what I want to do is I want to share with fathers, man, what it means, you know, what it means to be a dad. I'm not the perfect dad. There's no way to be the perfect dad. But I think that we have to really allow men to have room to learn and room to grow. This is why I started the Dear Brother podcast. That's why I speak about loving men, understanding men, man, trying to get men to appreciate themselves, because a lot of men just haven't felt that real love in their lives, or love has been an exchange. Love hasn't been pure for a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers feel love only once they give something. So it feels like love is always an exchange. And a lot of men don't understand what it is to just be loved, you know? So it's the miseducation, man. But good morning, everybody. I want to jump into this. I got a half-hour show. Got to get baby to school. So we're going to get into it this morning. I want to talk about five things that hinder some men from being the fathers they want to be. 5 things that hinder some men from being the fathers they want to be. I'm so thankful for my TikTok audience, man, and the YouTube audience, and just reading the comments and things yesterday from the podcast. Check out the podcast yesterday if you haven't yet, about the 5 things our children need from us. And the response from that was so wonderful, man. I got responses up into 2 and 3 o'clock this morning from men that are just saying thank you. I want to highlight one dad that jumped on my in my inbox on my TikTok yesterday. He was he said thank you so much for this message, man. And I said, why? And I asked him why in the inbox. He said, man, he said, I haven't been connected to my daughter in years. He said, and I heard this TikTok today. He said, and this is actually the first time I'm seeing my daughter in years today. He said, thank you for this because it gave me the healing and the help I needed to have the confidence that it would take to go and be with my child, man. And that was such a blessing to know that men are being helped. So let's get into it. 5 things that hinder some men from being the fathers they want to be. Unhealed emotional wounds, man. You know how many brothers are carrying unhealed emotional wounds, man, and it hinders you from being the dad you want to be. What that trauma from unhealed wounds keeps you disconnected from people. You know, when you've been hurt, man, I know me, and I know a lot of us. Pain a lot of times will make you isolate. For some pain will make you lash out. For others, pain makes you isolate. It makes you hold back. And I think that kids are needy, right? Kids are needy. They're born needy. They need you, right? But it's hard sometimes to give love that you haven't been given. I want to say this, man, because a lot of you guys are struggling with whether you're a good dad or not, or, that you can't do everything right. I want to talk to you about some of the things that's hindering you from jumping in like you would really like to jump in, man. I really do. Because it's only fair to you. It's only fair that you understand the things that hinder you from walking into the things you want to walk into. Let me see. Let me check the chat. Let me see. Let me see who's in the building. My man Ron McGee. Good morning, my brother. Good morning. Good morning, everybody coming in on Facebook and YouTube this morning. So one of the things is unhealed emotional wounds, man. It disconnects you. That's what it does. And one thing about kids are kids coming out looking for love. They coming out looking for hugs and kisses and words and everything else. Do you know sometimes, man, all that a kid needs, you find out how much you don't have when you run into all the needs of your kids. You start to find out, man, I don't even have that. Man, I don't have that. See, because the event of having a kid will make you feel all that. But when you walk that journey of fatherhood, you start to, sometimes kids will show you your wounds. Kids will show you what part of you is not connected. Kids will show you that. Kids will show you. Sometimes you don't know how much pain you're in until a kid shows you love. I'm telling you, man. This is what I talk about sometimes with men with serial dating. Sometimes you don't know until you know real love. Sometimes real love will make you shudder back because you never really understood it. You never really felt it. And when that kid love comes to you, it will show you some of your weaknesses. But when you feel the weakness, it's not time to back up as a father. It's not time to back up as a father because guess what? Your kid doesn't care what you've been through. Right? Your kid doesn't care what you've been through, man. They just want their dad. Your kid doesn't care how you feel that particular day. Your kid just wants their dad. They'll take a tired dad. You don't always have to perform for your dad. I'm telling you, like I said yesterday, the presence of a father means so much to a kid. Whether that presence is laying on the couch, whether that presence is whatever it is, man, you don't have to perform. Know that your kid needs your love, wants your love, and desires you to just be present. You don't have to perform. You don't have to perform for the love of your children. So with those unhealed wounds, what they do is it affects how you connect with your children. It affects how you connect. It also, how you were raised will affect how you connect with your children. My father was a teaching father. He wanted me to learn lessons. And so sometimes when I was raising my children, well, I am raising my children, a lot of times I had to curb the side of me that was always trying to teach them something to just giving them love. You understand? Now, is it it's a father's duty to teach, right? The mother's duty to nurture. But that, even though the mother's duty is to nurture, it doesn't take away the need for a father's nurture as well. Fathers do nurture. Don't believe that there's no nurturing gene in you because you're a man. No, there's nurture in you. And the love that I'm going to tell you, I believe, you may not believe this, I don't know. I believe that the hug of a mother is different than the hug of a father. Can I scientifically explain that? No. But I know with raising children, that it's a certain kind of love that a mother gives and a certain kind of love a father gives. That's why you need the mom and dad, because that love is different. Sometimes a dad's love is instructional, but your kids still need that kiss on the cheek, that kiss on the forehead. Yesterday my son came home from college. When I saw him, man, I grabbed him like he was a 5-year-old and hugged him and held him. He needed that from his dad because when it also teaches him sensitivity. And this dude, I mean, as y'all can see, he's a giant. But he's still my baby boy, and I know that he needs to feel that love. Don't be scared as a man to give the love that you didn't have, or to give the hugs that you didn't receive. Don't be afraid to give that, man, and don't think it's unnecessary because you didn't get it. Your kids need that love, and don't think your daughters are the only ones who need that hug, right? That kiss on the forehead, right? Don't think that daughters are, your sons need that. Because if we start showing boys that kind of love, that kind of hug, that kind of embrace, what it does is it cracks this tough guy mentality in our boys. And you see it in our communities now, where a lot of what we see our sons go through out there in the street, I call them my sons, even though I don't know their names out in these streets. There are sons. A lot of these boys out in these streets dealing with what they're dealing with, they're facing these things because they've never been shown that kind of love. They've never been shown pure love. That I love you just because. A lot of boys never saw that. So as a dad, when you have dealt with emotional wounds coming up, don't let that separate you from your children. Sometimes you need to admit to yourself, this is why I'm doing this, and fight your way through your emotional wounds, man. Fight your way through them. Don't wait to be healed to love your babies, man. Right? You sometimes loving your babies begins to heal the brokenness that's in you. Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on children being the kind of gift that will begin to heal the things in you that you had growing up yourself. That's why you welcome your children into your life. Welcome them into that circle. Welcome them in, right? Big open arms, because as much as your love heals them, their love heals you. So number one thing that hinders fathers from being hinders some men from being the father they want to be is unhealed emotional wounds. Number two, a lot of fathers what hinders us sometimes from being the dads we want to be is that hard work and time demands. I've been through that. When my children were born, I was an international speaker, man. I was all over the place. I was writing books. I was traveling state to state, country to country, right? Trying to provide for them. That's how I provided for my children. That's my gift. You guys experience my gift every day. This is what I do, right? But this gift that's blessing people, at some points, it kept me from being around my children. And I couldn't find the balance because I had a lot of excuse me, y'all. I had a lot of kids very quickly. I did. I went from having one son to 4 kids all of a sudden. I had triplet daughters. So imagine that transition from you got one kid, right? One kid and everything's cool. Now you got 4, right? So what that said to me was, you got to go get it, dog. Right? You got to go get it. In that moment, my love for them was the provision. Now, you would agree with me. A lot of you guys would agree. Yeah, you're right. You go from 1 kid to 4 kids that quick. You got to go get it. You do. But I learned later on that in my going to get it to provide for these 4 babies I had was they still needed that hug and that kiss from me. Listen, don't let your financial contribution to your kids make you think they don't need the rest of you. They need all of you, bro. Right? They need all of you. They do. Right? And again, it's not the overwhelming thing. As you provide, I know some of you say, man, I'm tired, man. I work hard. I'm trying to pay everything. My kids got what they want. Let me tell you something. Those clothes and those toys and those things you provide your kid with, they will forget the things. They'll never forget experiences. Hear me, man. They will never forget experiences. If you want the kind of bond with your kid, give them experiences over things. Things will make them smile for a moment, but experiences will last a lifetime and become lessons for the kind of parent they should be. It's very important, man. Don't trade out the things, right? Listen, my little one, she want to go to Five Below all the time, right? She want to go to Five Below all the time, and I can buy her this, buy her that. Half that stuff, I don't even know where it is. She don't even know where it is. But in that moment, it made her happy. walking out the store, oh, daddy, I love you so much. Oh, daddy, thank you so much. And she don't know where it is. But let me tell you what she won't forget. What she won't forget is the times where I had no money, right? When I was homeless. She won't forget when I went to pick her up in that borrowed car. And because I didn't have no place to stay, we had to drive around all day. Let me talk to y'all, right? We had to drive. Some days we would drive all the way to the beach. Some days we would drive all the way to Maryland. Some days because I had nowhere to go, right? She didn't know that. But let me tell you one of the most powerful things I experienced in that situation, being homeless, still trying to take care of my baby. And this was in the summertime. It wasn't no school. And I had my baby all day, right? What she did learn was the fun times, us playing in the sand. She'll never forget that. That cost me nothing. But it's the experience of being with her. It's the experience. And one thing my daughter said to me one time, she said, you know what, Dad? My little one. She said, Dad, I love this so much. I love spending time so much. She wasn't dealing with her electronics or nothing. And you know what? I sat back one night after I dropped her off to her mother, and I sat back in that car, in that parking lot, ready to go to sleep. Something hit me after a month went by. My daughter never asked about the house. I mean, she had a room in that house. She had a big Barbie playhouse. She had everything she wanted in that house, and she never asked me about the house. I never told. What's a 7-year-old know about losing a home? She don't know, but it made my heart just overjoyed in that moment, man. That she never even mentioned the house. Why? Because she was experiencing hours and hours with her dad, so much so that it was like, look, as long as I'm with my dad, she didn't even think about the Barbie house. Understand that experiences with your children are better than anything you can purchase them. Anything. Even if you have the financial means to do it. Even if you have the financial means, don't let your financial means separate you from your kid. Your kid don't care about money more than they do your time. Let me see who's in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Jeff Lewis, good morning, my brother. Good morning, man. Good morning. If I sound tired today, I am, y'all. I woke up at 1:38 and I've been up since. 1:38. In fact, it was 1:38 yesterday. 1:38 yesterday morning. Now is this morning I woke up at 1:13. I don't know what it is, and I stayed up and prepared for my show. But good morning, everybody. So if I'm a little low energy this morning, just take the wisdom, okay? All right. So the first thing that hinders some men from being the fathers they want to be is unhealed emotional wounds, right? Again, your kids will heal those wounds if you allow them to. The second thing is work and demand times. Don't allow the demands of the job and everything else to take you from the demand of love your children require from you. Number 3, lack of positive role models. A lot of dads didn't have dads, right? A lot of dads, my dad didn't have a dad, right? He didn't have a dad, right? My grandfather rolled from my dad's my grandfather left my dad and his siblings when they were like 2 and 3 years old. And he didn't leave and go to another state, another neighborhood. Homeboy was right in the same hood, right? With another woman, right at the bar eating good, really down the street from the house he left my dad and his siblings in. And I remember my dad telling me a story one time that while my father was trying to, he was out there 7 years old, walking house to house, asking neighbors, hey man, y'all got this, y'all got that, trying to put a meal together for his brothers and sisters. And on his way past the bar, he saw his father in the bar with some young girl eating steak and shrimp. You see? This is what I'm trying to tell a lot of you brothers, man, who you're out here, you're beating yourself up, trying to figure it out, man. Listen, you can't give what you didn't have. That's why I started this podcast, man, because a lot of y'all needed men. A lot of y'all need a community where you can learn the things nobody never gave you, right? My father, all he knew, I remember when I went through a divorce, you know what my father told me? He said, listen, man, it ain't about that woman. Don't worry about her. Just don't never leave them kids. What was he talking out of? He was talking out of his experience. He was talking out his experience. He, in his mind, what he was going back to when he heard that I was going through a divorce, what he heard or felt in his mind was, listen, no matter what happens between a mom and a dad as a father, don't ever slide back from them kids. Because I'm sure my father would have rather his father be there for him. Even if his father wasn't with his mother, he still needed his dad. Let me tell y'all something, man. If you go through a divorce, if you go through a separation, don't let your relationship with your children's mother or the lack of relationship with your children's mother hinder you from being a father to your kid. I'm going to tell you, because your kids will never forgive you for that. Your kids will never forgive you for that. And the love that your kids need from you, it has nothing to do with the relationship between you and their mother. Nothing, bro. Nothing. Your kids won't care about that. They might ask later on, hey, why you and mommy wasn't together? But what you don't want them to do is say, Dad, why wasn't you there? Y'all hear what I'm saying? You never want to put your kids in a place where they're asking why you weren't there. And don't use for a situation. I know a lot of you brothers have married some wild or had babies with some wild women or married a wild woman and you had to divorce or you had to get out of there. Guess what? You had to do it to save your own life. You had to do that to save your own mentality. But that has nothing to do with your children. Don't use that excuse. Oh, she crazy. Let her be crazy. Go pick up your kid. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Pick your kid up from her crazy house and take your kid out, bring that kid to your house and create an experience. Don't ever use the character of your children's mother as a reason not to connect with your children. I'm telling you, it's unforgivable to your children. Hear me out, bro. Hear me out. Lack of positive role models, man. A lot of you guys just don't know. Again, that's why I started this community. Right? Because examples of healthy fatherhood allow you to stand up strong. But lack of examples make you feel incapable of doing it. Because it's hard to keep on guessing your way through fatherhood, man. You need somebody. You need somebody. Even now, man, it's times in my life where I'm like, look, I got to talk to somebody about, this. My girls, my twin girls will be 18 next month, right? They're completely different than they were. Right? They're completely different because I still see my little girls as growing up girls. They're 18 now. They're going to need a different experience with a dad. Right? So what do? I call an old head and I say, yo, what's it like to raise teenagers? Now, most of them didn't have multiples. So a lot of them can't tell me how to raise two. But hey, I don't need to know how to raise two. Tell me how to raise one and I'll just double the pleasure and teach both of my babies. You understand? But you need to go seek that wisdom from somewhere, man. You don't have to guess your way through fatherhood. There's a lot of fathers who had to figure it out. Go figure it out from them, man. Don't drop the ball and say, hey, man, I just don't know. Or this is another one we said, I'm just doing the best I can. No, bro, you can do better. Come on, man. You can do better. You can. You can be a better father. Where does that come from? It doesn't come from guessing. You don't become a father from guessing. You become a father from seeking the wisdom that will make you a better father. Right? Don't let the lack of role model make you just slide into a place of not being a great dad, man. Go find one. Go find a great role model, right? Go read a book. Go find something. What it says is, I really want to be this. And look back over your life, man. There were times as a father, or not even as a father, as a man, you said, look, I want to be this. You had to go learn how to do it. If you play a sport, you had to learn how to do it. You had to invest time to learn how to do it. Right? Whatever you're doing, whether you're into the stocks, whatever you enjoy, you had to learn how to do it. It's the same way with fatherhood. It confuses me a lot of times, man, how we understand how we got to learn how to do other stuff. But when it comes to fatherhood, it's like, oh, I'm just going to pray about it or guess about it. Or I just don't have it. No, you learned other stuff in your life and it took an investment. Some of you, it took a financial investment for you to learn this, whatever you're into. It might take a financial investment to go get counseling, to go buy a book, right? It might take that financial investment, but don't ever tell me or any other man, right? That you're willing to put a financial investment into your hobby, but not becoming better as a father. Let me see what's in the chat. Okay, I got 5 minutes, y'all. Did you struggle? Let me see. Okay, good morning, my brother Jeff. Let me see. Did you struggle with the experience your children had with you not being the experience they share with their mom? That's been a struggle for me lately. Okay. Do you struggle with the experience your children had with you not being the experience they share with their mom? Hey, Jeff, listen to here, bro. The experience with their mother is going to be different than the experience with you. It's going to be. It's going to be. And man, this is deep, man. This could, listen, your question alone, Jeff, I can do a whole podcast on this. Right? Because especially if you're in a split house, then you really feel it. A lot of times the different kind of love or experiences you have with your children when you're in the same house, you don't feel it as much. But when you're in a split home, you do feel it, right? You feel a lot more. But understand this, your child is always going to have a different experience with their mother than you, right? It's about what experience are you giving them. And guess what? Don't try to compare. Don't try to compare the experience your children had with you with the experience they had with their mother. Their mother has created that experience, right? And so you have to create an experience as well. I know early on, man, I was so busy working and hustling that their mom was creating an experience with them. Right? She was doing different stuff with them that I wasn't doing. And I start comparing, right? And then what it made me do was step my game up. Like, oh, wait a minute, they're having this, they're enjoying this, right? And what am I doing? It actually, some of the experiences they were having with their mother, it challenged me to step up, to do more. What can I do as a father? What experience can I give as a father? Let me see. Um, All right. Like my daughter has an awesome time in my family anytime she's in our environment. And one of the things that have been relayed back to me is that she is vocal about not having a good time, but her actions is completely, let me read down here. Vocal about having a good time, but her actions is completely different than what's going on. Um, Jeff, I want you to do something. I want you to go to my website. Okay, because I want to discuss deep. I think a deeper issue might be going on. I think I might have been through what you're going through. Okay, and I had to mentally figure that out. I want you to go to my website, Jeff, christianwinners.com. Set up a one-on-one with me. Okay, it's donation based. You don't have to give me anything if you don't want to. For whatever advice I give you, it's donation based, bro. So I'm not telling you to go to my website to make money off of you. All my counseling is donation based because again, I was in a situation where I needed advice, I needed counsel, and I couldn't afford it. So I don't ever want a man to be in that position. But Jeff, go on my website, christianwinners.com, and set up a one-on-one with me because I think you're dealing with something deeper than you think. All right, brother? I'm serious. And a lot of times, let me tell you something. Let me just say this for all of you brothers, because a lot of you brothers might be facing or have faced what Jeff might be facing. I'm telling you what Jeff might be facing because I haven't talked to Jeff. But don't sleep on this, guys. When you are in a split home and your children are going back and forth, don't sleep on sometimes the manipulation, depending on the relationship you have with mom. Don't sleep on the manipulation that some women will put their children through to make that child love them more or make that child act like a certain way around you. I'm telling you, there are I've gone through this. There are a lot of very manipulative, maniacal women that can't stand the fact that the split came. And a lot of women, you hear it, a lot of women say, this is my child, as if you didn't help make that child. There's a lot of women that will possess, this is my baby. And they'll play that game. They'll play that game and they'll try to separate you, put a wedge between you and your child. I've gone through that. It's mentally damaging to you. But those are the times you got to stand up and be dad, not go off on mom. It's times where you got to focus on that child, observe what's going on, and find a way to steer your children, not manipulate because they've already gone through that, but steer your children to understand your love. Now y'all see why I'm saying, as a man, sometimes you got to dig in and really do the investment. Because again, there are some women out here that will make fatherhood very, very, very hard. But that's when your commitment to fatherhood. Don't let your relationship with that woman, right? I'm not saying this is just particular situation, but somebody out there that's listening to me or will hear this recording is dealing with that type of situation. Don't let that woman make you go off. Don't let that woman make you cuss her out. No, bro. It ain't about her. It's only about that kid. And let me tell you something. When everybody trusts mommy, but when kids grow up, every kid, when they grow up, they'll start seeing real character. And sometimes you got to live it out long enough for your kid to realize who's the real problem in the relationship. Okay. All right. All right. Because I'm going to tell you, yes, I was just about to say that, Gordon. Let me see. Some women will try to create a competition parenting. Yes. Right. or tell flat out lies to the kid. It's sick. It's sick. But you can't fold under that. You got to be dad no matter what's going on. All right, y'all. Oh God, I'm over my time. Let me give y'all these. All right. So 5 things that hinder some men from being the fathers they want to be. Unhealed emotional wounds. Right. 2, work and time demands. 3, lack of positive role models. 4, communication barriers. A lot of us are not good communicators. Right? We're not good communicators. We have to work on communication. Let me tell you how you work on communication with your children. Sometimes you got to leave your existence and jump into their world in order to communicate with them. You hear me? You can't, sometimes to communicate with your child, you can't stand in your experience as a man with 30 or 40 years experience as being a man and try to relate to them. You got to jump into their world, learn how your kid understands so you can communicate well with your children. Everybody communicates different. One of the greatest investments you can make is to learn how your kid communicates. How can I get to my child? The only way to learn that is to begin to talk to your child, and not just jokes and laughs, but really get into serious conversations. Right? How was your day? What's going on? What's on your mind? What you thinking about? It opens up the relational door where your kid will come to you and discuss with you, right? This is how you develop the communication skills with your kids. I don't care if you ain't good at communicating nowhere else, bro. You got to learn. You have to buckle down, man. Or like in boxing, when a guy is getting beat up, he'll go to the corner and the corner will say, bite down. Sometimes it's time to bite down, bro. When you can't figure it out, it's time to bite down, think it through, and learn how to communicate with your kids. I'm telling you, because you are their protector. You can't protect a kid you can't communicate with. You understand? Again, because a lot of times we think protection is this. No. Protection ain't this, or protection ain't this. You protect your kid with this and this. Very important, bro. Very important. You hear what I'm saying? All right. Number 5, the fear of failure. Some of us feel like, man, I'm just going to flat out fail as a dad, you know? Right? The fear of failure. Will I be a good dad? Am I a good dad? Right? I still battle with that now. As much as I'm involved in my kid's life, man, and deeply involved in my kid's life, never miss nothing, always there. I still wrestle with whether I'm a good dad or not. I don't know, because I guess I want to be so bad that I'm hard on myself. Right? Let me share that. I know I'm over my time, but I got to share this because somebody else is probably facing this too. When you're trying to be a good father, trying to do everything, sometimes you're harder on yourself than you should be. Really, you're harder on yourself than you should be. And if you focus on what you want to do for your kids, it will take your focus off what you're doing for your kids. And it will always be a challenge in your mind, whether you're a good dad or not. Right? You'll always be going through it right here with them. No, bro. Focus on what you're doing for your kids. Even the small things. Understand, kids don't need big things. Kids just need presents. You understand? Presents. Not Christmas presents. Presents. You there. You understand? You're the greatest gift that you can give your kid. Your words, your time, your thoughts. Right? But the fear of failure, sometimes anxiety will jump in there. Right? Am I getting this right? And you're not going to get it right every day, bro. You're not going to answer everything right. You're not going to be on top of everything. It's not. Just like mom's not. This is why I say don't compare mother and father, bro. Women act like they always got it together, but there are women that are scared, wondering if they're doing it right. They won't ever say it. Right? We'll say it, man. Am I doing this right? A woman's going to act like she is. She'll tell her girlfriend she's scared, right? But that's a lot of times why we begin to think that the woman got it going on and we don't, because they confess. Women have a hard time confessing what they can't do right. They'll act like they can, right? So don't compare, bro. Both parents go through the same thing, whether you're being a great parent or not. You go through that. But that's just a question that you're going to go through if you're trying to be a great parent. And understand this. If you're questioning whether you're a great dad, that's a good thing. Because some men don't even question whether they're a great dad because they don't even give a damn whether they're a good dad or not. So the fact that you're even in that battle means you're striving hard, right? But sometimes fear will hold fathers back from trying, from engaging, right? Sometimes you don't know what to say to your kid. You haven't communicated with them enough. You don't know their character. Oh, man, I got to go. Lord God, y'all, I love y'all so much. I don't be wanting to leave, man. Learn your kid's character. All kids have a different character, just like you have a different character. You can't treat your kids all the same. They're growing up. Your son is growing up, bro. Your daughter's growing up. They're changing. Change with them. Change with them. Learn their changes, right? Learn the simple things. Learn what your kids like to eat. Learn their favorite snack. Learn their little favorite restaurant. And let me say this before I go. If many of us invested the kind of time into our daughters that we have in chasing women or trying to win or pursue women, our daughters will have better lives. Well, I'm challenging this before I go. Think about it. Think about the amount of time, effort, and finance it took to pursue certain women in your life, and you didn't even get them. Imagine putting that same time, effort, and finance and energy and everything into your daughters. Pursue your daughters better than you've pursued these no good women. Your daughters deserve that, bro. Your daughters deserve that. Let me see. All right. Okay, let me see. Session locked in. My guy, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to talking to you, brother. I am. Thank you for setting up. Don Ellis, good morning, my brother. Thank you for enjoying. Let me see. Gordon, the children become communal damage. Absolutely. But guess what? They don't have to become. See, women will stay in that sick little play game. Don't, as a father, listen to me, guys. As a father, you are the basement, bro. You're the foundation. You're not the head of house. You're the basement of the house. I know we like to say, I'm the head. No, you're not. Or you can, a bad storm will blow a roof off. Be a basement. That's real fatherhood. Foundation. Everything that house stands on, that the winds can come and blow, but the foundation will hold that house together. You understand? Be the foundation. No matter what mom is doing, no matter what's going on, be the foundation, man. You know what, y'all? You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about all the women that's going to attack this podcast. But anyway, bro. Right? But yeah, bro, because you know what? Some women don't want to admit they're toxic. There's some very toxic women, some very toxic mothers out here. It's a fact. And again, that's why I talk so straight with you guys, because this is a grown man podcast here, right? This is a grown man podcast. But again, I want to finish how I finished a few seconds ago. You hear what I'm saying? Let me see. Our daughters desire to chase. Absolutely, Gordon. That's why I want to finish just where I finished a few seconds ago. Imagine putting in the time, the energy, the finance it took to pursue a woman. You would chase her across the country if you wanted her that bad. Put the same energy in your children, and you'll win their hearts, because their hearts count more than any woman's. You hear what I'm saying? Pursue your children. Hey, y'all, I got to get out of here. I love y'all. I really do, man. Thank God for y'all. Again, I was tired today, but y'all always bring the energy. Y'all always bring what it takes for me to get through it. I hope y'all learned something today. And remember, my guys, you matter to me, but make sure you matter to me. Stand tall today, man, and be very proud of yourself. Until I see you guys tomorrow. And always remember, let's say it with me, y'all. Yesterday is history, and tomorrow's a mystery. All you got is right now. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do about it? Have a brilliant day, because you're a brilliant man. I love you, and I'm out of here.